for state representative, because here you're the coach, but that's a big swing, man, from being a coach into becoming the state
Well,
representative.
after 20 plus years of coaching, being involved with inner city youth and seeing so many things from lack of economic development in our communities, kids sit with no future, no vision, it inspired me to take on a new challenge, still in the role as a coach. As a coach, you instill, you instruct, and you prepare young people for the future as a role model. And now I just kind of changed my arena a little bit and want to be a role model for adults. Biggest thing is in our community, we don't have economic development going on. And that's a thing called taxation without representation. We're being taxed as a people, but economic dollars are not coming back into our community. We don't have enough voices standing up, speaking out for the people. And as a representative in the state legislative, you make the laws that govern the state. And you are a representative of the people. And that's my agenda, is to go into the legislative as a voice for the people, as eyes and ears and legs for people that have not had opportunities to reap the benefits of their tax dollars.
Okay. Now we get all these people in office, but everybody say they're going to do this, they're going to do that, but I don't see any change. I don't see any difference.
Well, and I hear a lot of that when you're out on the streets among the people. What are you going to do? Everybody say what they're going to do, and they don't do anything. The biggest problem is we elect people, or people are elected to represent us, and they don't represent us, and the people do not hold them accountable. I cannot be an elected official, nor any other elected official that's in office now, hold office without the people voting and electing them in office. So we as a people, especially in the African American and minority communities, we don't hold our leaders accountable. We don't understand that we have to organize and we have to bring issues of concern to the table and make those people that represent us enforce and push those interests. We look at all economic development going on in the city, but nothing's going on in the minority communities, and we're not taking a stand.
And that's basically the situation, because I look around, and you have all these people in office, like you say, but at the same time, it's just a situation. Why is the reason they're in office? Why is the reason that they're in office? Because I don't really see why people run to be in office, but they not doing anything. Well, it's constantly going to be questions like that. You may give a full explanation, but at the same time, people are not generally trying to hear that, because they like, well, I'm still living in poverty. Why hasn't anything happened for me? Because it's certain people that want to be helped, that can't get the help, because you got individuals that take advantage of the help at the same time, but you got individuals that really honestly want to be helped, but they seem like they don't have an outlet or.
Well, I think it's twofold. I think when you become elected official, to get laws passed, there has to be a majority vote. And what has happened with other expressions, they use their vote as leveraging power to get what they need for their communities. And what happened, most of our elected officials to stay in office have bargained away their leveraging power with the powers that be. So therefore, their loyalty is to the powers that be in elective office, in the power structure, and not to the people. And what we have to do is we have to change that. We have to change that, because I've always maintained that political empowerment without economic empowerment, you are powerless, because whoever controls economics control the destiny of a people. And what we have to do is we have to educate and empower minorities to the advantage of being economically empowered. As a people, we turn over, as a minority people, over $200 billion a year in this economy. If we learn to take those $200 billion and pool those resources together in our communities and in economic development, then we become an economic force that the government and the powers that be have to recognize us. Right now, they just take and throw crumbs into our communities, and we're accepting that. But what we understand, if we take, for example, the New York strike, bus transit strike, it shut down the economy of the business to the tune of over $200 million a day. Businesses was losing just from a strike.
Okay.
So, and I'm not advocating a strike. I'm just letting us know the power of our economic dollars. And when we learn to use those resources, then we make government more accountable to us, and we make our leadership more accountable to us if they want to represent us in elective office.
Exactly. Now, the question I want to ask you is, you have a statement saying here, who is Robert Rita? Where is he? What has he done? And I don't know either. So who is Robert Rita? I never heard of Robert Rita.
Well,
What is he doing?
I've lived in the West Palmer community for 20 years myself, and I've never heard of Robert Rita before I decided that I wanted to be the representative of my 28th legislative district. And I did some research, and it's very hard to have someone that has been in elected office who is your representative in the legislative body of government, and you don't know who he is. I mean, if I'm there 20 years and I'm out meeting the people and they never heard of him, the question has to be, what is he doing? What is he doing if he's not interacting with the people? How can you represent me, negotiate, and address my concerns in Springfield if you don't know me and I don't know you? You may be negotiating for me, as I made the statement for popsicles for my freezer, when I don't have electricity or I don't have a freezer. So you have to know my needs before you can represent me.
That's true. Now, I hear you have a flyer here with the president of the Illinois Senate, Senator Emil Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, and State Representative Robert A. Rita here. Now, is it that he's up under Emil Jones? How does that work? I mean, is he? I mean, because I've never seen anything from this guy. I mean, never heard anything from him. I don't know who he is.
Well, I don't know that if he is not under Emil Jones. The fact of the matter is he's the representative of the 28th district, and he's a representative of the people. So he's up under every registered voter of the 28th district. And the insulting part is not only does he not connect with the people of the district, he sent out an invitation to all of the ministers of the 28th district, inviting them to an open house that he was hosting in the suburbs on a Sunday afternoon at 12 o'clock noon. And
that's on a Sunday. That's kind of awkward, isn't it?
My concern is if you truly want the representation of the community to be present, and we all know, especially in the minority community, the churches and the ministers are the anchor of the minority communities.
Okay.
And if you want the representatives of the community to be present, number one, why would you pick a Sunday when most of them are in their mass service?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to leave their mass service to attend the meeting. And number two, if you have a constituency that represents 90%, 85% of your district of the city of Chicago, within the city of Chicago in the 9th Ward and the 34th Ward, Rose and West Pullman, why would you not have a meeting in their communities? Is that you're out of touch with the community, you don't affiliate yourself with the community, or are you scared to come into a community that you represent?
But that's crazy. How are you going to be, a state representative for the 28th district, and you can't even step foot into the community? I mean, you can at least attempt to, even if you haven't stepped a foot in the community, at least get a team of people out, you know what I'm saying, to go out and really just see the conditions of the community, because you don't really see that. You know, you see a lot of people when it comes time, to get people in office and vote. You see them with these, want to put everybody's name on this ballot or whatever, and get these list of names, but you don't see any people out actually just coming to inspect our neighborhoods and find out what's really going on and what the situations are and the living conditions, because it's the cost of living is just like, going up in the taxes. I mean, it's like it's getting worse.
Well, my concern is to say I have lived in the West Palmer community for over 20 years now. And actually, I lived there 31 years of my life right now, to be correct. I have not seen any major economic development, or for that matter, any minor economic development going within the Rose and West Palmer community in my lifetime. And my concern is when I drive through the community, I see abandoned buildings, I see a deteriorating neighborhood and a community. When we live in a state that has a budget of $55 billion, not million, billion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question is, those are tax dollars, by the way. Where are those tax dollars going? When I drive through Crestwood, where my opponent's office is, Robert Rita's office is in Crestwood, I don't see deteriorating communities. I see flourishing community. I see stores, economic development going on in there. When I drive through his community that he lives in Blue Island, I see a flourishing community. It's very disturbing when I go through the Roseland community